Alright, so the last few days I've been playing a little indie game called Rush Cyberfunk, and I really wanted to make a review on it because I think it's kinda neat. I always say that playing different genres of games is good so you don't get burned out, and this is a very different kind of game, and yeah, I just want to babble a bit about it. Maybe convince some people to check it out, you know. So this title is a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio, I think at least. That game came out on the Dreamcast in the year 2000, if I'm not mistaken. And I kind of know it because it has a die-hard following. It's basically a cult, man. And for years, people have been praying and hoping for some sort of sequel. But you know, this game is published by Sega, and Sega is little asswipe. They rather make mediocre Sonic games instead. From what I've heard, Jet Set Radio has a lot of style and pizzazz, but the gameplay is a little finicky. I mean, it's an early 2000 game, so that's usually what you get. But I always wanted to play it at some point, but I never really managed to dive into it, you know. I do know that the soundtrack slaps really hard and that there is this one song that I always hear in a bunch of montages, and I bet if you hear it, you would like instantly recognize it. I bet at least 60% of you watching this recognizes this song. So Sega doesn't want to do anything with Jet Set Radio, so a group of Dutch people decided to make a spiritual successor called, you guessed it, Rush Cyberfunk. And from what I can tell, most of the bass things are fairly similar to Jet Set Radio, but it's a lot more refined and streamlined, just less clunky overall. So yeah, I got a little list of points I want to talk about, and the most important part, well, it's not really the most important part, but the story, the thing that is pushing you forward, because from the get-go, it is so unbelievably stupid while trying to take itself seriously, and it's kind of funny. It starts off with you being stuck in a prison cell, and some guy just busts you out for some reason, and you end up teaming up with that guy to try to escape the prison, but before you can do that, your head gets cut off out of nowhere, and then you get a replacement robot head, and then your goal is to try and find your head back while also conquering the city's skating style. That's the plot. You are trying to get your head back. It's so silly and stupid, and I kind of like it, I'm not gonna lie. There are a handful of characters that help you on your way, but the story is mostly just a reason to why all of the things are happening, if you get what I mean. It isn't amazing or groundbreaking, it's just really silly. It tries to take itself seriously, but like you're trying to find your own head. I don't know how you can make that serious. This is dumb. It's really dumb. The thing that I don't like about the quote-unquote story, though, it's not really the story, but there's just so much talking and a lot of these like dumb zoom-in shots. There are parts where you're playing, you know, having a blast, and then a cutscene happens, and then you play for another 30 seconds, and then another cutscene happens. It's really annoying, and it got to me a few times, honestly. But all of this crap doesn't matter in the big picture of everything. How is the gameplay? You know, the thing that matters, the thing why you play a video game. And it's cool. It's alright. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's anything special, but it's enjoyable skating around, doing tricks, and trying to have a big-ass combo going. The basic gimmick of it all is that you go to a new district that is owned by a different skating gang, so you skate around to find these graffiti spots, and every time you put down some graffiti, you get some reputation points. After obtaining an X amount of rep points, you get to fight some of the gang members, and at the end, you do a big battle to overtake the district. Once you win, you do some story nonsense where you go into like an acid trip or something, and then you go to the next area and repeat the process. There are some collectible skins like skateboard wraps, new characters, music, and graffiti patterns scattered around each map, but most of it is skating around and putting down graffiti and completing some missions. It's fairly simple, and a lot of the fun comes from you just bouncing around and doing some funny tricks, trying to get a big combo going, kind of like a open zone platformer like Mario 64 or Odyssey, where there are objectives in those games you can focus on, but just the idea of running around and messing with stuff is fun in itself. You also have a handful of bosses, and I'm not gonna lie, all of them are pretty awful and forgettable. I was playing this game in a voice chat, alright, and a friend of mine asked what I thought of the bosses. And you know what I said? What bosses? That is a sign that your bosses aren't great. Yeah, I don't know what more to say. They are just incredibly forgettable and lame. I wouldn't say they're bad, but you know, they're just kind of whatever. Also, after putting some graffiti down, the police will start chasing you. It's kind of similar to how Grand Theft Auto does it, where there are different wanted levels, and each wanted level introduces a new enemy. You can go two ways tackling the police. You can hide from them by going into a little clothing locker, or you can fight them. This is the fighting in the game. It's not a strong suit, kind of in the same part as the ass boss fight, so not great. But yeah, that's the basic gameplay of Rush Cyberfunk. Cool skating, it's fun to do tricks and build up a combo. The story is entertaining enough, but the combat and bosses, they just aren't there, man. Thankfully, the game doesn't throw all of its eggs in the combat basket, but like, this is just stupid, man. Why even include it? Oh, and the final thing I want to mention is the style of everything, which I might be a bit biased over. So first of all, it has this like very retro style, similar to Jet Set Radio, but quite a bit cleaner, which I always really like this style instead of like the super realistic stuff. Games like Dusk, Short Hike, or Sludge Life, this sort of like a low poly look. It saves a lot on time, like when you're making a game, but it also just looks visually pleasant in my eyes. But the big part I really like, and this is why I said I'm biased, is the amount of quote-unquote Dutch stuff. I said this game was made by Dutch people, right? And I myself am Dutch, in case you couldn't hear it in my accent, so I recognize a lot of the little references, like some of the voice lines. One of my favorite lines is when you bump into an NPC and they say this: Doe normaal. This gave me a little chuckle after hearing it for the first time. Doe normaal means act normal, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you say it in English, but it's just something that people say a lot when they're irritated by someone, like when someone bumps into them, they say doe normaal. You also have these little cube houses, which are actual houses that people live in Rotterdam, which also gave me a little chuckle when I saw this. And you even have the goddamn red light district in this game, which you know, sure, why not? Kind of stupid, but you do you, I guess. The music is also fantastic. They even have a song with the Pizza Tower Pepino taunt sound effect. So yeah, that's Rush Cyberfunk. It's a fun game. I don't think it would go in my top 10 games of 2023 list, but it is really enjoyable. There are a few hiccups, but they aren't big enough to really annoy me. I would recommend it if you like skating games, but this is not a cheap title. Currently, it's priced at $40, which is quite a lot for an indie game. With the same amount of money, you can buy the current platformer Humble Bundle, which includes like 8 games or so. But maybe wait for a sale, you know, wishlist it, and if you're really interested, you know, check it out. I think it's pretty fun. I just don't think it's like anything super special, but it's a good game. I give it a big thumbs up. So yeah, that's a video. Thanks for watching. Use code Foekoe for energy drinks. Very nice. All right, see you guys later. Bye bye.